Hi everyone, and welcome to Tutored by Kip McGrath, our brand new podcast where we dive into the stories, strategies and successes behind Kip tutoring. I'm Katie, and in each episode I'll be chatting with experts across the Kip network to explore what makes Kip McGrath tutoring so special, how we help children build confidence, close those learning gaps and thrive both in and out of the classroom. Hi everyone, and welcome to Tutored, our podcast, and today we are here with the lovely Olivia. Hi Olivia.
Hi.
Today we're going to speak in a little bit about your Kip journey. So first things first, where did you start with Kip and why?
So I'm a Kip kid. Started in year 3. So I was living with my grandparents at the time, and I actually remember the conversation. It's like vivid in my memory. We were in the back room. I'm sat on the floor, and my granddad was actually looking through the newspaper. So a lot's changed since then, and was looking for tuition and adverts because it just wasn't where I need to be. They came back from parents' evening. They're hanging in both English and maths, so they were actually really worried and wanted the best for me. So they found Kip Centre. They found Kip in Halifax, so where I'm from, and it was a brand new established centre actually. So we went along for the assessment, and my younger brother came along as well. And literally from then, I started maths and English tuition all the way up to the age of 18.
Wow.
So I caught up to the point that I could do my 11 plus, which was brilliant. I passed my 11 plus, went to a grammar school, and then continued for my GCSEs because my grandparents and I was so happy with the progress that I made. And I was actually then really lucky to be able to continue for my A levels as well. So from the age of 7, 8, all the way up to the age of 18, I went to Kip every single week. Became like part of my routine, but I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
What did you love so much about it?
I think for me, I felt confident. Like I could see the progress myself. And when things started to click, I was like, I know how to do this. I feel confident. And when I could start to see it in the classroom, I think more so during secondary school, but when things clicked and I was like, right, actually, I get this. I feel comfortable. I feel confident. I don't feel like I'm sat in a classroom where I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm the kind of person where I don't feel like I want to put my hand up in the classroom all the time. So the fact I could go to Kip and ask these questions and think, actually, I don't know how to do it, and they'd explain it in a way that works for me, because, every child learns differently. And just also the relationships that you build with the tutors. Mm-hmm. Like I was there for so long. For me, they were like part of the family, and it was just such a great environment. I felt comfortable and I loved it. I had a laugh, and ultimately it got me to where I am today, really.
And do you think it really helped within school? Do you think it built your confidence up at school?
Without a doubt. I felt confident to put my hand up and give the answers, and I felt confident to help others.
Wow.
Because I knew the methods that worked for me. And I also felt confident, to be honest, in school to also ask for help, because I was taught that asking for help isn't something to feel ashamed about or feel worried about, because ultimately it's the only way you're going to learn. And so yeah, it was a huge part. It was massive.
Amazing. That's so great. And I think that's an element we forget with children, is asking for help is a superpower, that you should do that. You should raise your hand. If you don't understand, you shouldn't sit there worrying that you don't know the answer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think Kip is really good at building that confidence to make sure children do that.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I think that really plays into the small group tutoring part of Kip and building confidence around being with other people, not being soloed on your own. Did the group experience through teaching help you with that?
Absolutely. I mean, and when we say group tutoring, we don't mean every child is being taught the same thing. And that's something that we really kind of value in Kip, and it's something that we really think about. So I myself, when I teach and when I tutor, everything kind of my background and my experience is every child learns differently. Mm-hmm. And we look and find the methods that work for those children. Mm-hmm. So when we're in that group, it allows us to teach those methods explicitly for every child, But then the fact that there's other children in the group, the independent learning is vital, because it allows us to understand that they've got the method and that they're happy with the method and that they're secure. If that independent learning is showing that they're not, then we teach again. We take as long as we need to take for that child to be comfortable and happy and secure in their methods. But it also supports in the long run in life, because ultimately we have to be independent in life.
Yeah.
In your home life, in your job, in every aspect, you've got to learn to be independent. So having that small group tutoring where you've got that one-on-one tuition, and then you've also got that independent learning, not only supports your academic journey, but your lifelong journey as well. So it's brilliant. It really works.
And what dynamics do you see in the group tutoring? What does that bring out in the children when they're with other people in those sessions?
I think it allows them to be more confident, ultimately. And, they don't sit there and have a chat all the time, but they do grow and build that dynamic with the other children. But I think it's always really important as well that they get to a point where they feel comfortable asking for help in that session with the other children there.
Yeah.
Because the children know that they're all there for different reasons. So you might see children looking at English, you might see children looking at maths within that session, but because they've got that own personalised programme of learning and they've got that independent learning as well, that dynamic works really well. And it also is lovely to see when you've got the children come in and like, hi, how was your weekend? How was this? How was that? And you really develop that group and that dynamic, and it's lovely to see. It's really good.
Yeah, and I think there's nothing better than when you're in the centre and having an atmosphere. I think that's really important for children to be in a good, warm, positive environment and not being soloed on their own.
Oh, without a doubt, it's my favourite thing. To when I walk into the centres and I see the children every single week, and they'll ask me how my weekend was, or they'll ask me, they might know that I've been to the hairdressers, and they're like, oh yeah, and we'll talk about what they've done, and they're so happy to talk about, if they went to a football match or if they got an award at school, because it's not just the learning, it's the whole relationship, and it's just amazing. And it's also really nice to see the children talk to each other. So they might be waiting before the session and they're colouring at the table and they're having a chat, and it's so lovely, it's so warm. And the parents as well and the carers talking to each other and coming to the desk and saying, hi, how are you? And just popping in. It's you can't describe it. It's just amazing.
And we do hear that feedback from the children that they actually do like coming, and it's genuine. They love coming to Kip and seeing their progress and confidence grow. We do hear that quite regularly.
Yeah, and I know myself that I loved coming to Kip, and I see it within the children now. I have family members that have been to Kip pretty much the same length of time, and they love it. And they love it because it's that warm atmosphere, like you say, but also because we make a difference. We really do make a difference to children's lives every single day, and they can see that.
That's so lovely. What is your best success story or your most valued story that you've seen from one of the students at Kip?
I've got loads. I could sit here and talk for hours about how many I've got. But for me, it has to be one child who first came to us and the parents weren't sure it was going to work. So it was a child with special educational needs. And that child came to visit the centre, and we did a walk round, and we spent as long as they needed to have a little walk round, get comfortable, and ultimately decide, is this setting right? Is it somewhere that they could be comfortable and create that atmosphere? And the child was a selected mute, and at that point they attended tuition, developed that relationship, and they actually started where they didn't talk at all.
Wow.
They communicated through our platform where we can actually type to each other, which is amazing. So we've got that option and ability to be able to do that. But actually now, if I walk into that centre, the child's talking to not only the tutor, but the people in the session as well. The first time I nearly cried, I can believe it, because and for the parents to say that is the biggest achievement. So, achievement socially and achievement academically, and it was just fantastic. And that's what we're here for.
It's changed his whole life.
Without a doubt, like, because we didn't know if that would happen, and we were prepared for that, and we were also happy and prepared to continue with the typing or whatever methods we needed to use, a communication board, whatever that would be. But ultimately, to see them talking and laughing and chatting and hearing the laugh when you're upstairs is just an amazing feeling.
That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Story. Thank you for sharing. What do you do now, and how has Kit changed your life?
I am a qualified teacher. I went to teach in primary schools, and I also ran nurture provision, so for children who just couldn't quite regulate their behaviour and needed further support. I then decided that I just wanted to do something different, but I still wanted to work in education. So at the time I was teaching, I was doing some tuition for the centre that I actually attended as a child. So I tutored a small amount every week in the evenings, and I loved it. I loved seeing the children every week. I loved seeing that progress that they made. And an opportunity came up to work full-time with Kip. So I started as a centre manager, and then my role has expanded and changed. So I then became a manager of several centres, and my title now sounds very technical, it's corporate operations manager, but ultimately I support the running of some centres within England. And the one thing that is brilliant about that is that I get to see the impact that we have every day, and I love it. I feel like I've found my calling. I know that sounds, some people say, oh, but I really do, because I always wanted to be in education. And for me, with Kip, you really get to see that progress, and you really get to see the impact that you have on children's lives.
How do you think Kip differs from other tuition providers?
It is that small group with that one-to-one tuition, because we get to really make sure that we've got a personalised programme of learning. So by that, I mean that children come for a 3 assessment with us, first of all, and within that assessment, either myself or our assessors or our centre managers really get to see how we can support that child. And at every assessment, every set of feedback is going to be different, because children learn differently. Children have got different areas that they need support to thrive and flourish. So we get to provide that feedback, and it's really open and it's honest, and we talk about how we're going to support. And from that, and from the assessment that we use, every single child is going to have their personalised programme of learning. Mm-hmm. And I think that that is absolutely brilliant. Next thing is, every single one of our tutors are fully qualified. So important. All of our teachers have been through training. They all hold a qualified teacher status. They understand the methods that they need to teach. And it's certified. Mm-hmm. We are one of the companies that make sure that all of our tutors hold that QTS. Really important. Next thing as well, all of our tutors hold a DBS or a PBG. Again, not every company does that. We are here to safeguard the children, and it's vital that we do that, and it's something that we take with the utmost importance and seriousness, so that you can know that your children can be left, mm-hmm. they can be dropped off, and they are in the best possible care. We make sure that we are here not only to support your child educationally, but to make sure that they're in a really safe and positive learning environment. And also we use amazing programs. The content that we have, it's got proven methods, proven results. You can see it with the children, and you can see that through feedback, and it's weekly feedback after your session. Come on in, have your feedback there and then. Absolutely, we can show you what progress we're making. We also have a parent portal, which is fantastic, that the parent can use, and it is a platform, whether that you have 1 child or 10 children attending that, you can see that within the one platform, and you can see what they've been doing in the lesson. So you can go on and see the progress that they've made. You can have a look, even the computer activities you can see, and then also you can have comments from your tutors as well. So if you can't get to the sense of that feedback that week, doesn't matter. Go on the portal and have a look and see how they're getting on. It's absolutely brilliant. You can also update like your contact details, payment methods. It's just really easy and really handy because, you know, parents are busy.
Yes.
They are so busy, and you can have it on your phone and your iPad, and it's just a really interactive way of being able to look at that progress. And that's something that I think is brilliant, super proud of. So we are constantly working to better ourselves and to provide even better service than we already are. And I think that's why we really, really do stand out.
And I think we're trying to adapt to how family dynamics are nowadays. So
Yeah.
like you just touched on, two parents working nowadays is becoming the norm. So there does need to be that information that can be at their fingertips and they can see that progress really quickly and efficiently. Are you finding a shift in that within centre, that parents sort of want to log on and find that information themselves as opposed to coming into centre?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, you know, they might have other children at football practice or ballet, or they might just need to quickly nip off 'cause it's tea time. So yes, we do have people that come in week in, week out, but we also have lots of people that use a parent portal and look at that feedback and see what they've been working on. And it also allows some parents as well to then work more on at home.
Yeah.
Also because they can see what they've done in the lessons, and they might think, oh, let's practice some times tables with them. So it's just that flexibility and that kind of, that it's more fluid to allow them to adapt, because everyone's busy. It's that rush. So, you know, if you can't get to the centre,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a problem. We've got the parent portal. And we've also got the phone.
Yeah.
You know, pick up the phone if you want that conversation and to have a chat about what's been put on the parent portal and any of the comments. We're there.
Yeah. Could you tell me a little bit more about the difference between teaching and tutors and how that makes such an impact here at Kip?
For example, my experience, when you are teaching, you could have 30, 31, 32 children within that classroom, and you have got an objective that you would like to teach, and ultimately you teach the one method. As much as I would have liked to teach many methods for the children to support them, and not every method works for every single child. It doesn't. People learn differently, people set work out differently, and that is something that, you know, in a classroom you can't do. You can't teach 30 different methods. We'd love to, but ultimately it doesn't work. Whereas for us in tutoring, the first step again stems from that initial assessment, where we can really see what we need to support each child with. So we have got different ages that you will come out with at the assessment, and there will be different levels that you start with. So the assessment builds that program. So from the first off, it's different because we are working on the elements that each child needs. So the next thing is, again, this, I'll say it and I'm probably going to sound like I can say it again and again, but it's true, is the method. You know?
And can you talk a little bit more about that method? Because from what I understand is it's about putting them at a starting point, regardless of their age, regardless of their level, at a level that's good for them. So can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think the foundation piece behind the KIP method is really imperative.
Yeah. So each child at their assessment is assessed based on a set of assessments that we have. And we might find, for example, a child in year 6 may come for the assessment, and we might find that actually we've assessed them on the end of year 4 expectations, and we will start our tuition on that. Because one, it's about making progress, but it's also about building confidence. So we have potentially found that actually all of the elements at the end of year 4 expectations aren't quite there. And that's okay. You know, that's absolutely fine. This is why we are here. So what we would do is we then make that program based on the age that that child is working at. Within that, there are lots of different kind of core elements that we may look at. So we might, fractions, for example, big part of year 4. There are many different ways for fractions to be taught, and there are many different ways that we might need to show that child until it clicks. And within the group tuition and that one-to-one teaching within that group, it's the beauty that we can teach those methods. I often find, not everyone gets it straight away. And everyone is like that, regardless of what you're looking at, whether it's educational or, something on the Excel spreadsheet I'd need to be shown about 15 times. It just doesn't click for me. So the beauty of our program and our tuition is that I can spend as many weeks as I need to spend with that child until I find the right method for them and until it clicks. Until they say to me, yeah, oh my gosh, wow, like I get it. But also until I can see that progress. So, they will show me that they can do it. We'll work through that. We'll do the homework. We'll keep practicing it. But we will also then come back to it.
So it's not just about passing exams, it's about actually understanding, regardless if you have to go back 3, 4, 5 years, we're going to take your child back as long as they can understand the core subject. We don't mind how far back we have to go, and you will make good progress that way.
Absolutely. 100%. And that's nothing to be ashamed about, because ultimately, if we need to build those foundations, everything's built from foundations. You can't build a house without foundations. It'll crumble.
Yeah.
So we go back as far back as we need to, so that child develops their skills, but develops their confidence.
And understands.
Because, we can show them and they could go, yeah, I get it. I used to do that all the time in the classroom. I'd be like, yeah, I get it. Yeah. I'd come home and go, don't get it. Don't understand. What have you just said to me? But it's about building a relationship to a point where the children say to me, actually, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And I go, absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Don't get it? Let's look at a different method. Not a problem. And I always say to them, tell me. You don't understand it, tell me. We will keep going until we find a method that works for you and until it clicks.
Yeah.
And if you want to look at it again in 2 months' time, absolutely fine. Like, this is why we are here. We're here to build those foundations, make the progress so they feel comfortable and they know that they're going to be secure. And it's not, yes, they need to pass exams, of course they do, but we're not here just to pass exams. We're here to build confident people who can go out there in the world and think, I know what I'm doing, but also I'm confident and I'm happy and I feel secure and I understand.
That's so rings true, because it's fine getting that A on the exam, it's different putting it into practice in real life.
Yeah, of course it is. And you can come out and say, I've got this and I passed this, but we're here to build children who are lifelong learners and are confident in doing so, because that's what has the biggest impact.